Well, the Pelosi, Schumer, Sanders, AOC, Soros, Biden-Harris Democrats now want to turn the nation's capital into a fortress and build a wall. But they refuse to finish building a wall on our southern border. And now they found a way to manufacture another false flag by using the events of January 6th to spread the narrative that American citizens who oppose their awful policies are dangerous. The razor wire fence around the Capitol in Washington, D.C. is a sobering reminder of what's happening to our freedom in America. I'm David Fiorazo, and this is Christ and Culture. So the left is lobbying for a permanent Capitol wall. More Democrats have been suggesting Trump supporters be re-educated or deprogrammed. A few weeks ago, the New York Times published one of many alarming articles. This one was titled, "The Capitol Insurrection Was as Christian Nationalist as It Gets." Socialists and globalists have already convinced people that Christians are intolerant and patriotism is divisive. But we must not allow the left to turn our love of God and respect for our country into something shameful, wrong, or dangerous. Missouri Senator Josh Hawley recently shared his concerns that the left is laying the groundwork to divide Americans and use the Capitol breach to frame all Christians, conservatives, Republicans, and freedom-loving citizens as domestic terrorists or right-wing extremists. Last week on Tucker Carlson Tonight, Hawley said this:
I'm concerned that they continue to treat the January 6th catastrophe, that criminal riot, as an excuse to seize power, to control more power, to step on people's Second Amendment rights, to take away their First Amendment rights. Now we're hearing about a domestic war on terror. I mean, what's that going to be? An excuse to go rifle through the emails and bank statements and personal messages of law-abiding Americans? I mean, this is very, very frightening stuff. And what Pelosi and the Democrats are doing here, trying to consolidate power, it's dangerous.
The left is known for never letting a good crisis go to waste, and this is no different. But to suggest that they need a military-style barrier around the U.S. Capitol, that's a bit much, even for them. According to reports, there are 7,000 National Guard soldiers and airmen who will stay another month in the city, and 5,000 troops will thereafter remain indefinitely. How do they justify this political theater and taxpayer spending? There was never a threat of violence or lawlessness at hundreds of Trump MAGA rallies across the country last year, but it seems Democrats conveniently ignore the mayhem of Biden-Harris voters looting and burning private and public buildings, not only in Washington, D.C., but in many other cities throughout the summer last year. Now, dozens were killed, hundreds of police officers injured, about $2 billion of damage, property damage, was done. Heck, in Portland alone, attacks on federal buildings cost about $2.3 million. And the Democrat media called the chaos, quote, mostly peaceful protests. And yet, they harshly criticized President Trump at the time for deploying federal agents to reinforce outnumbered police forces. It's the hypocrisy. In an op-ed last week, Family Research Council's Tony Perkins, whose office is near the Capitol building, reminded people about the rioters in D.C. last year who lit fires and taunted police officers every night, leading to orchestrated violence. The left also ignores the mob that surrounded and attacked Senator Rand Paul, his wife, and other Republicans following President Trump's RNC speech. Now, most of us remember property owners at the time responding to rioters smashing windows and looting stores by boarding up doors and windows with plywood and hiring security, as many businesses did in states around the country. We also remember the praise from most Democrat leaders for those that were expressing their frustrations and, quote, exercising their First Amendment rights. Tony Perkins made an excellent observation. He explains, the anticipation of leftist violence after Election Day from a Trump re-election victory led many establishments to board up. However, Joe Biden was elected and the boards started coming down. The actions of property owners suggest They sensed the left was satisfied and would not return to their burning and looting. However, if you walk by the Capitol today, you'd think the threat is greater than ever. Actually, you can't even get close to the Capitol. 8-foot fencing topped by razor wire cordons off streets up to 4 blocks away. Around the clock, National Guard members in military fatigues with automatic weapons stand at 20-yard intervals. The Pentagon is now projecting that the federal government will spend $483 million in security costs at the U.S. Capitol. It's a scene worthy of a third world dictatorship, not the United States of America. Welcome to Checkpoint Pelosi's latest power-grabbing stunt. Most Americans aren't buying it, and many see right through the hypocrisy of the double-standard Democrats. Now, these people want a very different America. Beware the globalist infiltration in government and the social justice infiltration in the church. The enemy is within. Enemies of God, biblical values, truth, and our freedoms. To them, this is about their Marxist coup. But Democrats have forgotten the U.S. Congress is the people's house. Under the First Amendment, Americans have had and always should have the right to enter the U.S. Capitol, to visit their representatives, their senators, and to petition the government. Cheryl Chumley writes for the Washington Times and warns that the next stage of the left's agenda is to categorize and take down Trump supporters, patriots, Christians, and conservatives by condemning, quote, Christian nationalism. Be watching for this, and don't let the left redefine this phrase. Here's what Chumley wrote. Christian nationalism is all about founding father visions for this country. The ones that say our guiding principles are those rooted in Judeo-Christianity. The ones that say America is indeed exceptional because America was indeed blessed by God at the beginning. The ones that say this country did indeed have a covenant with God called the Mayflower Compact. The ones that say it's this basic beginning that led to all the greatness that America was, is, and truly will be. We must stay engaged, friends. Let's keep raising awareness and stop their redefining of words and their deconstruction of our history. God bless you, and keep speaking the truth about things that matter. Hey guys, thanks for watching. Most of you know our show is being censored by big tech.
While this makes it harder to meet the cost of producing the show, that's part of it. It also demonstrates that we must be having tremendous success, or they wouldn't bother to try to shut us down.
If you like hearing truth and common sense with a love for freedom, please join the Patriot Club with a one-time $99 tax-deductible donation. And you'll get this sweet vessel of joy as part of a thank you for joining the Patriot Club.
Etched with the American flag and the words freedom never tasted so good.
All you have to do is visit patriotclub.us and become a Patriot member today.
That's patriotclub.us. Thank you and God bless.